Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called The Human's Red Button, written by Manaria. The Alliance Council grew quiet as all eyes went to the center podium. Everyone knew the species well that was going to be speaking next. Everyone had been waiting for what they had to say on the growing war with the Zalki. War was putting things nicer than the Zalki deserved, however. They were monsters. While they were in the Alliance, the Zalki were always eager to be first into combat. It was an open secret that they were fans of slavery and trying meat from any source they could. Now that they were in open conflict with the rest of the galaxy, they decided to no longer hide their cruel supremacist beliefs. Sure, the Alliance finally stopped the initial push, but the question on everyone's mind was, what's next? Everyone knew that the Zalki would not be able to push much further into the Alliance space. However, the videos of raiding parties, what they were doing to the species stuck in the Zalki's new territory, and the threats of what the Zalki wanted to do to the Alliance still made everyone sick. The humans said that they were going to address this issue themselves, and now the time had come. The humans had already proven themselves in so many ways they were rapidly becoming a core species of the Alliance. Their foods, entertainment, and more were amazing in almost every regard when they entered the Alliance. And their willingness to adapt and integrate other species' ideas and more just made it even better. That and their military. A military that had come in with such power it made even the Zalki pause their normally energetic testing of new members' military. Then they learned from every other species until their military was one of the best in the galaxy. In fact, their rise was one of the major reasons the Zalki went rogue. In fact, the honor the human military devoted itself to versus the cruelty of the Zalki was propaganda gold, and one of the main reasons the Alliance citizens were more angry than scared. The fact the human entertainment machine threw its weight in only helped the situation. Turns out their entertainment industry had a history of wartime production. Finally, it was time. All eyes, senses, ears, and more looked onto the grand entrance as the humans arrived. Everyone froze as they watched what came in. 2 human marines in ceremonial black armor with guns at the ready, their faces hidden by shiny black visors that reflected the council's stunned faces. With them was the human councilman and the commander of the human forces. The former of the duo was no surprise. He was the one that called the meeting, the one that was in the council chambers at almost every meeting, and was pretty much humanity's de facto leader at the time. The commander was a surprise, though. Few in the council had ever met the woman, and those who had knew to respect her military might. However, she never attended a meeting and preferred to stay well away from planetary politics, stating that her duty was to wage war so the galaxy can know peace. Between the 2 well-dressed humans was a box. Not just any box. It was sleek black metal with hinges on one of its long sides. The 2 carried it, with one on each side gripping handles made not of fine gold or exotic alloys, but handles of leather. They rested it on the wooden podium, and the commander stepped back and let the councilman speak. He stepped up to the podium and looked around with sleepless eyes that anyone who met them could feel the pain within. He cleared his throat and rubbed the box under him before looking at the gathered representatives. Listen, his voice was not one that everyone knew anymore. It was tired, commanding, and full of pain and sorrow with none of the pageantry and joy everyone expected from him. The council complied, wondering just what was going on. You all know of humanity's capabilities when it comes to war. Some of you learned when you watched us deal with pirates, raiders, and other things the Void decided to spit out at us. He looked around before taking a breath. The rest of you have learned as we fight the Zalki. We are winning, he continued. We are waging what we call a conventional war now with them and are slowly pushing them back. We expect once all of you join in to have them pushed back to their home systems within 2 decades. The council members muttered amongst themselves and nodded. It was one of the more optimistic predictions everyone had. However, the chamber grew silent again, just from the human's eyes slowly scanning the room. It was clear the human was not done. However, humanity has been watching the same videos you have. We have buried a half-eaten dead, liberated slave camps, and time after time counted weapons that we ourselves have banned since our first Great War. He did not stop there. We humans were once brutal, cruel, and once turned to creativity you all know us for towards death. We mastered it. He slid his hand back and forth on the box, his eyes no longer able to leave it. We swore to the rules we add to so that such cruelty shall not happen again. Cruelty they rejoice in. Rules they mock us for. He only glanced over as the commander walked up. They need to be stopped, he stated firmly. We made those rules to save our souls that we have determined they no longer have. He nodded to the commander, and together they opened the box. We humans had another reason for the rules. We as a species continued that creativity. We as a species created weapons that could end our species. However, the wars did not stop, but we agreed such weapons should only be used as a last resort. Inside the box was a metal panel. In it lay 2 keyholes with one on each side. In the middle was a clear box over a large red button. The council members didn't know what to watch it more, the strange box or the humans around it. Even once we were amongst the stars, we decided that such weapons would still be reserved, for using them might stain our souls. He paused, took a breath, and continued. We made more, just in case, both as a measure against the void and to ensure that we stayed in line. He nodded to the commander, and they both pulled out keys. Basic keys out of normal metal. Both calmly pushed the keys into the holes, and, with the firm twist of the cover flipped open, everyone knew what to look at, the large, round, red button. It looked almost comically large, and without any decoration, some could have considered it funny. However, everyone in the room felt afraid of it. We've been in discussions in our own internal factions. Every human group had to sign an agreement for what we are about to do, he declared as he stepped behind the podium. We as a species have decided that what they are doing is unforgivable, but they've crossed the line no sentient species should ever cross and deserve to be broken. His words no longer held any of the kindness all had heard before. Instead, it was broken, sorrowful rage. The sounds of a broken heart and a soul that knew its grim duty. And we as a species have decided that if this is not what our judgment is for them, it'll have been made for nothing. We as a species have decided to unleash powers we kept locked in our deepest vaults. We as a species decided that if this damns our souls to hell, then at least we can seal the door behind us. He looked up at the council. I hope this is not what you remember us for, he gave them a sad smile. But we cannot let evil persist. And if evil is what it takes to bring peace, then we shall sacrifice ourselves. He lifted his fist high into the air. May God have mercy on our souls. He then slammed his fist down on the button with such force the podium shuddered. Silence filled the room. Then screens came on. Video footage from the Zalki home system was flashed up on screen, a live feed clearly from human satellites. This council saw their massive warships casually drifting around the polluted worlds the cruel species called home. Then, one battle cluster vanished into a dark void. Then another. The council gasped as Zalki Armada started evasive maneuvers as more and more of them were ripped from reality by what was clearly antimatter missiles. However, before they could even begin to talk about the horrors of seeing so many superweapons being deployed, the screens dimmed. Silence fell as the screens grew bright again. It was not from someone adjusting the feed or the screens, but with small suns appearing on the planets. Balls of atomic hellfire scorching planets and burning away anything they touched, cleansing the lands in atomic flames as the Zalki ships were simply erased. One of the creators of our atomic weapons has a quote, the councilman said, still at the podium, refusing to look at the screen or the rest of the council for fear of what he might see. Now I become death, destroyer of worlds. With that, he walked to the commander, paused, then all the humans walked out together, leaving the council to watch what the humans had unleashed. Slowly, the feeds ended as the destruction ceased, leaving the council quiet. Few could comprehend the level of death they just witnessed. All slowly turned, though, to take a look at what had just changed the universe. A single, simple, undecorated red button. End of story. Boomerwaffen, Severin Cerberus, Bushmaster 177, Henry the Red, Caspar Arnholtz, Cold War Boomerwaffen, Elijah Silvercross, Dragzoon WRE, and Severin Cerberus. Thank you very much.